Joining us now, Congressman Dan Burton, Republican of Indiana. Look, we applaud that statement, but are you using a tiny little nail clippers, or are you really going to bring out the machete?
Well, Liz, I think we're going to bring out the machete as much as is humanly possible. As a matter of fact, under the U-Cut program, which we've been pushing for the last 10 or 12 weeks, we've been asking Americans to send us their suggestions on how to cut spending. And for 11 straight weeks now, we've proposed amendments on the floor of the House to cut spending. So we're listening to the American people, and in our pledge to America, we're going to get the job done.
Part of the problem, though, Congressman, is to hear it from John Boehner, who has, forgive me, but a checkered record on the issue of earmarks, on pork, on federal spending. He, for example, had a chance to put Jeff Flake on the Appropriations Committee before President Obama was. He declined, even though Flake was a real, true-to-the-bones pork cutter. And instead he put a porker on that committee. So he has a checkered record himself in terms of not following through with cuts.
Well, first of all, let me just say that I think John understands the situation that America faces right now, as does the rest of our leadership. And I can guarantee you that the members of Congress who will be reelected and the new members coming are going to be very, very difficult to deal with if we don't stick to our guns. So I think John will do the job. He's got the ability and he knows how to lead. But I think he's going to feel pressure from the bottom up, if you will, from new members as well as existing members that are conservative to make sure we stick to our guns on these spending cuts.
It's interesting because, yes, we would agree with you on that, Congressman, but then look what happens. If you really are going to cut with the machete, that involves things like Social Security and Medicare, and you watch some of the constituents, the very people who re-elect some of you and elect some of the new gang who say they want to cut, will start howling when their Medicare is cut. They will. What are you going to do then?
Well, first of all, as you know, the Democrats' health care plan takes about $500 billion out of Medicare Advantage, which I think the seniors are already very upset about. But there's an awful lot of waste, fraud, and abuse in almost every agency of government, including Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. And what we need to do is apply business practices to every area of government. And so what I would suggest to our leadership is to bring business people in and give them the charge to go into every agency of government and find where there is waste, fraud, and abuse and cut it out. I think we could save hundreds of billions of dollars if we did that. But in addition to that, we're going to cut out a lot of the spending that's left, the money that's left in TARP and the bailouts. There's hundreds of billions of dollars there that we can cut and put back into Treasury.
What about something a little more dramatic, Congressman? What about something like a change in leadership? Again, because of John Boehner's checkered past with spending himself. What about changing the leadership? Maybe you don't go with the folks that have seniority, but go with some of the new folks who are really committed to cutting the spending.
Well, of course, that's up to our caucus. We'll have a conference and we'll decide who we're going to elect as leaders, and there may be some contest. But let me just say this. If John Boehner is elected Speaker of the House and Mike Pence is the whip and Eric Cantor is the majority leader, you may rest assured, and I will give you this pledge myself, that if they start deviating from the goals that we have set for America in our pledge to America, I personally will ask for a change in leadership. And so, you know, I've been there a long time, and I will give you my commitment that if they start deviating from what we promised, I personally will do that. And I think there'll be a lot of others that will say stick to our guns. And I believe John will. I believe our leadership will.
Okay. The very forceful words from you. We'll watch it, Congressman. Thank you so much.